Welcome everyone to Awesome Truth, a wrestling book club. I'm your host, Steve Semino, and with me as always is my co-host, Walt Schwenk. Hey, Walters.
Hello, Steven. How's it going?
My friend, it is going very well. We're back on Awesome Truth, and it's a bit of a holiday episode today, Walt. The holiday has passed. It was July 4th. It was 2 days ago, as of when this recording comes out, but we thought it was time to take advantage of that holiday and talk about a momentous moment in wrestling history. I guess momentous is a bit subjective. Your mileage may vary on how momentous, but I think, well, this is the thing most people think of when they think of July 4th in wrestling. And of course, I'm talking about Lex Luger slamming Yokozuna on Battleship.
Yes, the USS Intrepid?
Yeah, I believe that's correct, yes.
Wow, okay. I just pulled that out of my ass.
So you know about, so even you remember the name of the ship. That's crazy.
I remember the name of the ship, maybe because I had this weird, like, understanding of how many battleships exist in the U.S. that you could possibly body slam someone on or hold a wrestling event like this. Because I've never seen this.
You've never seen this whole segment, correct?
No, I mean maybe I've seen it like as like a one of many clips in a clip-o-matic like promo. But even then, I've never seen this from beginning to end. I read about it in Lex Luger's biography. Never actually seen what transpired. Although at this point, I can imagine what happens.
I will say, we were just talking about this before we started. This is around when I got into wrestling. I didn't see this live. I wasn't watching this on July 4th, 1993, or I guess July 5th is when it aired, but I wasn't watching it all then, but I was reading WWF Magazine, because my dad was a big wrestling fan, and I think he bought me a couple issues. Like, I don't think I had a subscription or anything, but I got a few one-offs. It was one of those things as a kid where you just read the same magazine over and over again, because you're like, I must absorb every morsel of this information as soon as I can. So I remember reading all about this and reading all about the SummerSlam that comes later, which we'll talk about when we're done our little watch along here. But it definitely stuck in my head, as I'm sure it did for many kids of our era, just as a very absurd thing. And I don't know if I loved Lex Luger, but I was suddenly aware as an 8-year-old that Lex Luger was important, Like, it definitely does that, at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, now, this is something that I probably should say for when we actually watch this and react live to the segment.
Yeah, we should make clear we're watching this. It's an 11-minute segment on the July 5th, 1993 episode of Raw. So we'll shout it down right when we get started. But we are going to go back and watch this live, and Walt, you're going to experience it for the first time.
But this kicks off the Lex Express in the summer of Lex.
Yes.
Okay,
that is definitely correct.
So the Lex Express didn't lead into this.
I believe this is the explicit rebranding of Lex Luger, I think Lex Luger was the narcissist until this happens, and all of a sudden he's America's hero. I don't think there's any nuance in between those two things. I think he just switches one day, and because he slams Yoko, he becomes an American icon.
So from July 4th until September-ish, I mean, maybe even into like Survivor Series, I believe there was a big... Like, he was in the main event of, like, the American...
Yeah, that's when Undertaker had the American flag in his jacket.
Right. But this was the summer of Lex. This is, like, the big program of WWF in 1993.
This is when he did the barnstorming tour in the literal bus, and, like, he was John McCain. He went around and I guess shook hands and kissed babies. I still don't totally get it, but he did it.
But clearly they invested a lot in this guy at that time. And... I guess he did, in theory, grab the baton from Hogan in June of '93 that year after he got lit up by a fucking Japanese photographer.
That's right. Yeah, this is the next thing. This is right after the Hogan thing officially ended. Like they did their little dalliance with Brett earlier in the year, and then they tossed that away at WrestleMania. Hogan came back for a short run. As you noted, Hogan fought Yoko at King of the Ring. The photographers, his blew up. Hogan's face was, and then he was gone for decades. That was it. That was the end of Hogan in WWF then at the time. And Lex was the guy, and I imagine if you were a jaded wrestling fan in the 90s and you saw this, I have to think you think it was cool because it is kind of cool, but I'm sure you're also like, what? Like, you're just force-feeding me a new American guy? Like, it's just such a strange gimmick. It's just Lex Luger was so not. It's just like even though I think it is kind of fun, it is so aggressively convincing you by telling, not showing, that Lex Luger is the man and the hero and a big hunk who you should all be in love with.
I mean, not only that, more so, I feel like they just were really obsessed with picking up Yokozuna too. Like, this guy had never been body slammed until this moment, I believe. But just looking at Peacock's menu of like all the Raws during that time, the week before they had a like, can anyone pick up Yokozuna challenge?
Did they really? I did not know that.
They've milked this goddamn body slam challenge for like weeks.
So they did like I assume at the Manhattan Center version, and then they did it on the Intrepid version, basically?
I mean, I'm not going to go back and watch the June 28th
no.
Raw. And who knows when that was recorded.
But based on what you've learned in very small doses, that seems to be the case.
It's like they just were obsessed with just Yokozuna getting picked up.
I mean, he's a big boy, so I mean, I sort of get it in the broadest sense. Like his whole gimmick was that he was a big, sumo guy. So I can understand why the whole thing was, can anyone slam him? Like, it is a very natural sort of idea to deploy with a Yokozuna type.
Yeah, I mean, it was the perfect thing for 1993, and you had to fill 46 minutes of TV time a week. Yeah. So, what else are you going to do? Like, have Kona Crush out there? Like,
well, you're saying things that are going to happen soon, so.
Oh, boy. It's exciting and terrifying.
Well, let's get right to it, Walt. So, if you have Peacock, please queue up Monday Night Raw. It's Season 1, Episode 24. And again, it's July 5th, 1993. So if you go to that episode and put it on, right as we say 3, 2, 1, you will be able to watch along this wonderful segment with us. So, Walt, are you ready?
Yep.
All right, I'm ready as well. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Play.
There it is. Yesterday morning. So they don't try and sell it as live, which is good. They're very honest about this. All happened on the 4th itself. So that adds a whole other weight to it.
Yeah.
So, well, you're getting a little look right here at what happens. This is, I don't know if you know this part. This is a challenge beyond just, this is everybody comes and does it. Like,
wait. Time out. When the hell did Macho Man become All-American Macho Man?
Also a great question. I don't know if that might just be for this segment. I don't know if he ever does this. Although I do believe he's wearing it in a minute when you cut back to him doing the show. So as you can see, there's a little hint right there. That is the body slam challenge on the Intrepid. And it's not just wrestlers. It's celebrities. It's athletes. Like, they bring people from all walks of life in to do it.
Are you on the...
Yeah, I'm watching the
intro,
which is also an incredible intro, an incredible theme, and everything.
Peacock suggests that you could skip the intro, but I don't know why the hell you ever would.
It's the best. It's so short and it's so perfect. It's the best little theme. It's like they have the horns at the end too. As that's wrapping up.
Oh man,
it's a really great. And there's the Yoko Pro sign, of course. Everybody loves.
Oh my god,
loves Yoko Pro. Oh, so we got Bobby the Brain, we got Macho Man, and we got Vince on commentary. A great trio, I will say. And Macho Man is wearing his America attire again, which is an outrageous look.
Oh my god.
Well, I know you've dressed up like Macho Man before. If you could pull off that attire, and especially wear it on a July 4th event, that would be quite a sight.
I have my short sleeve button down that has Macho Man in this attire as like All-American. And I'm all like, where did that come from? And now I know there was an era where he was the All-American Macho Man.
Wow, you're connecting so many dots. That's amazing. I believe Vince right now is introducing us. Yeah, here we go. We get right to it. There's no delay. We go right to the segment on the Intrepid. So, as you can see, there are a decent amount of people there. There's hundreds of people there. And
yeah.
I assume it was free. They came down just for, it's New York, so I guess you're off on the holiday. If I was a kid, I would have been extremely enthusiastic to go see whatever the hell this was on the Intrepid. So, people are excited. They're weird looking.
This rendition of, is this Star-Spangled Banner?
Yeah, is that what's happening?
It is horrible.
Well, Todd Pennagill's there. Okay, so it's called the Stars and Stripes Challenge. Yokozuna versus the USA. So Yokozuna versus the entire country is the conceit.
Wow.
Was that Todd Pennagill wasn't singing the anthem? It was the other guy, right?
No, it was some other guy.
Okay, but Todd Pennagill is there. We should say
Yeah,
that.
he was in the longest jorts I've ever seen. And I'm looking at you, Cena.
And here's Yokozuna coming out with the winged angel belt and a big checkered robe, looking very large. And if you read Lex Luger talk about this, he says like this is really fun because Yoko was so nimble. He wasn't even worried a ton about. So before we get that, so this is a New York Giants player trying to slam Yokozuna and failing.
Love how
This is Bob Backlund. Look at Bob Backlund.
Oh wow, he looks like Seiko Sid without muscles.
Bob Backlund could not slam Yokozuna. Peter Taglianetti from the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't know why a Pittsburgh Penguin is in New York for this, but he cannot slam Yokozuna. Scott Burrell of the Charlotte Hornets is here.
Oh man, and looking like it too.
The teal pants. He's looking great.
He doesn't even bother.
He really didn't even try. Oh, here come the big boys though. Look at Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner is looking real big.
Juice to the gills back then. Pre-Freakzilla. Also, so the commentary's coming from the Manhattan Center still, even though
they're just watching along with us, right, and talking.
Yeah, because the Macho Man's there and he's not talking, and I'm hearing his commentary. So that's a little jarring.
Yeah, it's a little weird. That's a curious choice. Tom Pellico's shorts really are incredible. He looks like $1 million. Yoko's eating a big bowl of rice to get his strength, I guess.
Is it cooked?
I don't know. Ooh, look who it is.
Oh, man.
It's Tatanka, the Native American superstar. I like how they're doing. I like how some of the guys are doing other moves. That actually does make a lot of sense. Like,
yeah, you got it. Just Yokozuna just contractually obligated to just take it.
That's true. It's unclear whether Yoko's allowed to fight back or not. But even if you give him a chop and an axe handle, he's still. Oh, there he goes.
Can he not fight? Oh, there it is. Okay.
I think I'm a little ahead of you. So
I think I am 3 seconds behind.
I'm going to pause for a second so we can catch up here. But I don't want to ruin it for the fans. But
we blew it already.
But yeah, Yoko does. Oh, here's another football player in a great.
Bill Fralick. Oh, you got a leg. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he did the best of anybody so far, and he's not even a wrestler.
All these like athletes who don't actually wrestle, like how many of them who just like grabbed his balls?
Oh, Walt, speak of the devil, it's Kona Crush.
My boy Kona Crush. Let's go.
Like I would love to know how they got these random smattering of athletes. None of whom are guys Scott Burrell I only know because I liked the Charlotte Hornets when I was 10, and the Chicago Bulls, but he's not a known guy, and they got him. Like, why would he come to this event?
Also, there's only one New York local athlete. Like,
yeah,
they imported a Penguins guy. They imported a Hornets guy.
Look, I mean, Kona Crush is a big guy. I always forget about that. He's gigantic.
Yeah, but you could probably pick up Yoko. I mean, if it was, if it wasn't gimmicked.
Oh,
he does.
Oh, but he hurt his back.
I told you.
Oh, now Macho Man's getting involved. He can't just stand there any longer.
Yeah.
I do like that Kona Crush is from Hawaii, which is part of the United States, so he is definitively an American. So that is a fun.
Sure.
Though I think he turns evil really soon. I think he turns an evil Crush and basically joins Yokozuna and Mr. Fuji pretty soon after this.
In less than 6 months.
Yeah, so
he's facing against Macho Man at WrestleMania 10.
That's right, yeah. Oh, Macho.
Yeah. It worked out so well for him in the 1993 Royal Rumble. Again.
That's right, when Yoko landed on top.
When Macho Man tries to pin Yokozuna to win the Royal Rumble.
Oh, that's right. So Macho really gave it a very lame effort, and now has his hat back on. It doesn't seem to be really trying again.
Yeah, his role very unclear in this event.
Yeah, he just failed. Like, I love Macho Man, but if I was him, I'd be like, that was not great for my character. I just sort of ate shit. Oh, the fans are all reacting, though. Well, what are they reacting to?
Oh, because Todd Pettingill tells him there's one more. I think.
This is some good spectacle. This is some outrageous spectacle right here. Like, they put a lot of effort into this. And it's amazing because Lex Luger was really not this guy. Like, this was a very force-fed Lex Luger is your hero type thing. But I will say, like, for a force feeding like this, they made it grandiose. You know, they made it a somewhat big deal. You can't watch Raw and not think, okay, this guy's a guy.
Yeah. And to think a year later he'd be showing up to the Mall of America. the same
Yeah, the
spectacle.
rise and fall of Lex Luger, especially this character of Lex Luger, is a very swift one. And then it never comes back up ever. No one ever tries to make him an American hero ever again, you know? Like, WCW doesn't even blink at that idea. Like, it fades away. I guess, like, they do the United Powers with him, or the Allied Powers with him and Davey Boy, but, Bobby the Brain gets a shove.
Why was Bobby the Brain even, like, interacting with him?
I think, you know what it was? It's because he was his manager.
Was
it's
he?
because Bobby the Brain was the narcissist manager before this. So I think that's the thematic, like, connection there, you know?
Oh, I didn't realize
he's just
that.
decided for whatever reason, I'm turning on my manager, and I'm at least give them credit too. They showed that they could have easily not even done that, but they gave it a little bit of closure. That's nice, right?
Yeah. So if Coda Crush wore that shirt, would everybody just buy into the fact that he's like the American guy? Like
They could have easily gone that route too. They could have just said Crush is your new USA champion, and I guess the crowd would be like, okay, Crush, sure. It's a big part of it is the ridiculous, the blue jeans and the ridiculous shirt. What is Lex saying here? He's really giving it to Yoko. He's giving it to everybody.
Yeah.
Yoko's looking semi
pretty exhausted.
Yeah, mostly ready to go, I think. I believe from we read about this in the Lex Luger book, as you noted, and I believe it was hot as shit today. I think it was like, I think on top of this thing in the July sun, it was like 120 degrees or something.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
The rice was hydrating.
It looks very exposed. Everything's like rubber or just some other probably light absorbing, thing. I think it just probably is just a pure nightmare in terms of roasting to death.
Yeah. Didn't he? I believe there's an anecdote about him slipping in his boots a little bit.
Yes, the boots are outrageous too. Why would he wear those boots? I think he was also not happy about it. But
yeah,
but he just he slammed him. Oh, the crowd is going crazy. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, they're really loving it.
It's a big pop.
I guess if you're out there all day and you're seeing this Japanese behemoth and you want to see him go down, it's pretty exciting when he does. Because if you're a dumb kid, you might think it's not going to happen, you know? Oh, the Steiners are holding him up. 2 American flags.
The most 1993 WWF thing I've ever seen. It's the Steiners holding up Lex Luger with an American flag.
And like you said, they'd all be gone really, really soon from here and be in WCW. So.
Yeah.
3 guys really not defined with WWE or associated with WWE in any way from this point forward. They're on their flagship moment.
God. Did they do wrestling matches after this, or was it just this?
I believe. On the Intrepid, I'm not sure. I think this is the last thing they do. I think everyone just goes home after this.
So is this the only thing they do? I guess.
I guess there could have been like a Demolition or a Repo Man match or something. It's certainly possible, but I do not know if that's the case.
Wow.
So there you go.
Bruce Pritchard in the background.
Yeah, there he is. And there's the gang. Yeah. This Raw crowd got to watch a video of their Lex Luger thing. They must be so excited. I think that was the ECW guy, too, the diesel looking guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whatever that man's name is.
Wow. A lot of tiny American flags here.
So there you go, Walt. How did that match up with your expectations, with what you've learned over the years of what this was going to be?
Wait, are we pressing pause, or are we just going to watch this segment?
You want to keep watching more Raw? Is there more?
There's another minute or two before the commercial.
I think it's just Vince and Bobby and Macho talking about how cool and great it was.
Oh, Macho Man giving his endorsement.
Yeah, he's saying Lex Luger's his guy now, right? Which is Macho knowing what we know about Macho, I think he hated this shit so much. He must have been even more mad about this.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Like, I want to wrestle. You're not letting me wrestle. I look like a goober. Lex Luger gets to win. I have to promote this guy who sucks 100 times worse than I do.
Is this... Oh, Blake Beverly. Okay.
Do you just want to watch the whole Raw now? Is that your new desire?
Right. I gotta sit through goddamn commercials on Peacock to watch the rest of this Raw.
Pausing this episode of Raw. So.
Okay. Wait, I have so many questions about this Blake Beverly segment, but
Well, we all know he's one of the Beverly brothers. You're aware of this,
but
right?
who's this other person who's like, "Are you raw?" sign?
I have absolutely no idea. That's a question that is above my pay grade. I do
Okay,
not
well,
know who that man is.
Yeah, all good things must come to an end, including this this watch along of such an epic proportion.
So I will say what I like about that segment. They pack a lot into 11 minutes. It's a very jam-packed little sequence. The athletes make no sense. They seem to have come from nowhere. They barely come close to even moving the guy. So it just doesn't really. And then it doesn't. No one gets a rub at any. It's so clearly built just for Lex. I guess Crush gets the littlest rub because Crush picks him up and moves him. But it's just Macho looks like a goon. The Steiners mostly look like goons. I guess Yoko comes out okay, but it's so narrow focus on just Lex Luger, all caps, underlined, bold. He is the man. It's. I think in that sense, it's just wild how much effort they put into it.
I mean, the suggestion is they rented out the USS Intrepid to just put Lex Luger over. I mean, I guess that is a pretty big expense.
Yeah.
Taking a flyer on a guy who was previously a mid-card heel to, hope that everyone will crown him as the new Hulk Hogan. But, I mean, I can't think of the top of my head. I'm sure there's other examples of WWF, WWE, other promotions going to extreme lengths to get someone over. But
I think
this
the abruptness
seems...
is just so wild. It's just it's such a forced sea change, and I guess you have no Hogan and you sort of nuked Brett for a sec. You don't really have a choice, but yeah, and I guess it's all, we can't look at this now without thinking about what happens afterwards, which I'm sure you're very much aware of what happens at SummerSlam 93, right?
Was it a count out?
Yeah, it's a count out.
Yeah.
I believe there's some anarchy and some BS, and he throws him outside, and he just is counted out, and he wins.
But they celebrate like he wins a title.
Yeah, they put him on their shoulders again. I believe the Steiners are involved again, and they pick him up like he won, like America's victorious. And it's a count-out victory. at even back then, your second biggest pay-per-view.
I guess we're here to celebrate the small things in 1993. Count-outs, body slams, scoop slams specifically. Yeah, whatever.
It's just they vacillate so quick, And in July, Lex Luger goes from heel to face and gets the biggest moment in this, like you said, this amazing and elaborate whole experience. And then 3 months later, he doesn't even win the belt. It's just such a strange choice. It's count out too. I guess count outs are more prevalent in the 90s and the 80s than they are now. But still, what you're neutering him right away too. You gotta. I think they had. I'm sure Lex wasn't doing what they wanted, but I feel it's just wild they didn't go Lex or bust.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately though, I feel like they did make a star in Lex. Considering that he wasn't gonna win. They still made him feel important. I mean, you could debate that, but
he was more important for sure. They upped his ante real quick.
In 2022, they try and elevate someone to feed to Roman Reigns. That person's not looking good afterwards. They're looking pretty not good. And you could probably replicate that logic for the last 10 years. But considering it was a stopgap for what would eventually become Brett's crowning or whatever you want to call 1994, not the worst case scenario. I mean, the people seem to care about him, Lex, I should say, and it could have been far worse for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. He was
downgraded. Expect optimism from me, did you?
I mean, he was downgraded pretty quickly to a tag team, which is and back in that day was certainly a kiss of death.
No, he won the Rumble in '94.
He did win the Rumble in '94. That's true.
And he quote unquote main evented WrestleMania 10.
Yes, meaning he had a show in that match in the middle of the card that he lost.
Yeah, with another fuck finish. But
another fuck finish. But I mean, he had, and then he became a WCW guy. So it's not like Lex. It's not like Lex. You definitely can't jump through Lex's career and say, and then it was over. And like, it didn't hurt Yoko any. You know, it's the Yoko. Yeah. Yoko helped Yoko. I mean, we talked about this in our Yokozuna episode, available in the archives. But Yoko remained a monster heel for a little while. You know, like they got a really good run out of Yoko.
And I don't believe he got body slammed again until Ahmed Johnson in 2 years later.
But which by
Don't
that point
quote me
you were
on
watching,
that.
and you were probably so excited for that, huh?
Yeah. Well, that was the first person I've ever saw body slam Yokozuna. So
until now, until you've seen Lex do it. Did Hulk really never do it?
I don't think he did.
He didn't do it at 9. He just
no. I think it was just.
Did he boot him and then just leg drop him?
Yeah, it's just boot leg drop.
Wow. Well, they're probably saving this for Hulk. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the original plan, and then it was like, well, plans changed. Lex Luger time.
Yeah, it's not going to work for me, brother. Let's get the photographer in here and shoot a fireball.
Harvey Whippleman or whatever that was.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, there you go. It was it's real.
Treat or not treat?
I think a treat. It's a very dumb big thing that I do associate with the holiday. You know, like WWE loves tribute to the troops. They love, you know, being patriotic. Like their whole, you know, the 9/11 documentary, what we were going to cover at one point and then abandoned because it was literally uncoverable on the show. They love to emphasize how much they love America. And to me, this is, I mean, again, maybe because I was a child, but this is the ultimate example of their commitment to that sort of ideal. You know, we love America, and we love it so much, we're going to rent out a Battleship, and we're going to dress a guy up in an America suit, and he's going to slam someone from another country, and the fans are going to wave little flags the whole time. Like, it's all that mushed into one in the most remarkable way they could have thought to done it.
Yeah, it's just thinking of them pulling off this PR stunt in 2022 makes my head hurt.
Yeah.
But in 1993, this was like perfect fucking fodder.
It's a simpler time thing. Not even in an offensive way. Just in like this is just stuff you could probably do a little more easily then. Now it just would not be as pure, you know?
The Manhattan Center only held maybe 1,000 people. And so the USS Intrepid made more sense to put on this big spectacle. But like now it's like, why wouldn't I just run like the Little Caesars Center? It's like 18,000. That's 18 times more bigger than the USS Intrepid. And half the temperature.
But you wouldn't get this shot to look at Lex in front of the even just on the Peacock pause screen, seeing Lex in front of the big buildings holding his arms up, like some iconic images there, I think.
I mean, anytime you involve wrestling and helicopters, I feel like typically it's a win.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't think of a bad example of it. So
no, it's pretty good. It's fun, and no one has suffered any sort of debilitating injury or anything. So it's a nice it's a good visual there for sure.
Yeah, so you know. A lot more pluses than minuses.
Well, there you go. Walt has seen it now. You've all hopefully watched along with us. To me, it's July 4th, WWE style at its finest. So, hope you enjoyed that. It was weird, it was fun, and we had a great time. If you want to learn more about Yokozuna or Lex Luger, you can find a Yokozuna episode and a Lex Luger episode in our archives. We've also done other watch-alongs, specifically to the Undertaker Netflix thing, which was, I think, way worse than this, Walt, just because this was only 11 minutes and not 47 minutes of pressing buttons on a Netflix screen. So
yeah, far less of a commitment.
That's right.
And less interactive, too.
But for a holiday week, we hope you all enjoyed the lovely little commitment we've asked of you. So, Walt, great to talk Lex Luger. Hope you had a good time. Hope you've connected the dots finally on the 1993 goings on of these people. So
happy 5th of July. We'll always remember the live national broadcast of this event 29 years ago.
That's right. 29 years ago to the day of this recording, Walt, that was when that happened. So almost the 30th anniversary.
I'll never forget.
Thanks for listening, everyone. And remember, the truth will set you free.